close the topic of BRI a little bit, I would like to know, what do you think from your perspective is the most important for EU companies to know about BRI in order to participate effectively in these projects? So what would you tell European companies is the most important about this project or initiative?
Right. Well, as I've just mentioned, Emmy, you know, there hasn't been really enough foreign participation in BRI. And so when we look at, you know, BRI infrastructure and their projects, you know, it is Chinese companies that currently dominate BRI infrastructure construction. And, you know, hopefully that will change to some extent. But even having said that, we do find certain large multinationals like Siemens, GE, and Bolloré actively engaged in BRI projects. So we do see some multinational and important multinational corporation participation in BRI projects, but not so much in the actual infrastructure. Mm-hmm. Now, this also has implications for smaller companies, for SMEs, a whole range of European companies. There are opportunities for EU companies to work around infrastructure construction by finding niches, right? Especially as regards logistics, ICT, development, and legal and accounting services. Mm-hmm. So that is something that European companies should be looking for, and particularly SMEs should be looking for. Now, I should also point out that to date, foreign suppliers, foreign companies have typically participated in BRI projects through joint ventures with Chinese firms. And so this is a very important form of business cooperation. Typically, this will involve the establishment of a or equity joint venture in China, according to Chinese law. And then that can also be used as a springboard, not just for in China operations, but also as a springboard to cooperate and participate in BRI projects. Now, it's also important to note that China is experimenting with public-private partnerships, particularly in the infrastructure context. And this is going to provide opportunities for EPC contractors. And as Chinese companies establish subsidiaries in BRI countries and new supply chains, there are bound to be co-production opportunities for SMEs. Those will be probably predominantly local SMEs, but there may also be opportunities for European companies in this space. And of course, if private foreign financing is involved, say from Deutsche Bank, this obviously increases the chances of EU business participation in the project. The key, of course, is to know what BRI projects are in the pipeline. You know, there are actually BRI project lists or lixian, and these exist at both provincial and national levels, and are associated with China's outbound investment strategy. Chinese laws provide guidance on the filing and approval of BRI investment projects, which fall under the purview of the National Development and Reform Commission, or Fagaihui. And Chinese policy banks, funds like the Silk Road Fund and the AIIB may also be involved. There is also an important agency to be aware of. This is China's State International Development Cooperation Agency, which serves as a clearinghouse for information about BRI projects, and provides obviously greater transparency as well as opportunities to actually bid on BRI projects. The Chinese Ministry of Commerce, the Shanggubu or MOFCOM, and its local counterparts are also a great source of information on projects, as is the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, or HKTDC in Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. Now, EU business participation in BRI, as I have mentioned, can occur through the establishment of the Chinese, a Sino-Chinese or Sino-Chinese joint venture or foreign investment enterprise, what we call an FIE. And this presents other advantages as well, not just, as I mentioned, in China advantages, not only opportunities to get involved in BRI projects, but also to obtain preferential access to other Asian markets.
Okay.
Via China's FTAs, and especially via RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership that has recently been concluded. By using China as a base, EU companies can obtain more favorable terms for trade, investment, and the provision of services within, for example, RCEP, than would otherwise be possible. So this is something to bear in mind.
Okay. So there are lots of opportunities there. I'm thinking, for example, I mean, one slogan or catchphrase for the BRI has been the Green Belt and Road Initiative. And being in Austria, I'm aware that there are a lot of companies who specialize in green tech and everything around sustainable technology. So actually that would be a possibility to check the projects that are being made in this like whole framework and try to find a partner company to do a joint venture. And it's actually really quite possible to do a project under the Belt and Road funding like umbrella. So did I get you right?
Yes, yes. I mean, we're talking specifically about green Belt and Road projects. I mean, certainly there are many of these now, but all of this gets ultimately organized and approved via the National Development and Reform Commission, with its headquarters in Beijing. So that is an important player. The Ministry for the Environment in China is also, of course, will know about these kind of green projects. And I should mention too that the AIIB, the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, it particularly supports sustainable projects. It has programs on sustainable projects related to sustainable cities and sustainable energy. So there are projects that are being regularly vetted by AIIB that involve green dimensions and which one can learn about and perhaps participate in, again, in some kind of supporting or niche role.
So yeah, definitely the company would have to find some expert to guide them through the whole process. But I'm just trying to like break it down to the very tangible effect that companies or also larger conglomerates or international multinational companies could actually participate and benefit from this structure that is already there.
Yes, so and I should mention too that there are two major UN supported initiatives that do involve the participation of business in relation to Belt and Road. These are the BRI Green Partnership and the BRI Blue Partnership involving the oceans. So I think you're right. Those who are companies in the EU you know, they do need expert advice on this, but there are many opportunities to be aware of, you know, projects of business along the Belt and Road, and particularly in the green space. But it's a matter of knowing where to make inquiries, who to ask.
Definitely, but the opportunity is there. I'm not sure if many companies are aware of that, so I just want to stress that and put it out there. And of course, coming to the end of the BRI topic, there is also a completely different Silk Road initiative that this is actually where we two met, Don and me. We met in the Silk Road 4.0 Emerging Technology Tour. So Don, please, I don't want to talk about it myself too much because I'm so involved in it. Would you please tell our audience what this is and why you think it would also be a great opportunity for the audience to like enter this whole topic and also to go on a journey with us along the Silk Road?
Well, thank you, Emi. Yes, I mean, I've recently joined the team, so to speak. As far as Silk Road 4.0 is concerned, I mean, I'm actually very impressed in what is being achieved, and this, of course, by Silk Road 4.0, because this is very much in line with you know, improving EU-China relations, taking on the mantle of, if you like, a little bit more strategic independence on the part of Europeans, and you know, of course, relates, as the title tells you, directly to the Belt and Road Initiative. And so far, Silk Road 4.0 has engaged, and it's a very imaginative and creative concept, as well as very practical, using tours of major cities, capitals along the Belt and Road, and meeting with, you know, leading you know, business people, people in government, people in think tanks and the like, all done virtually. As we must do right now with COVID-19. And so we've already visited, very fittingly, our first visit was to Brussels, to the European Commission, to the headquarters of the EU. And then subsequently, we have also visited Berlin, which is such a economic powerhouse for Europe. Germany is, that is, and of course, Germany is such an important trading partner for China on so many different levels. And something I hope we'll have a chance to speak to you about today is how Germany, the Dutch countries, and indeed the entire EU would benefit tremendously as a result of the generous market access offers China has put on the table as part of the comprehensive agreement on investment. But anyway, we've just recently visited Berlin, and coming up this week is a visit to Warsaw, Poland, and Poland is an extremely important member of the CEE, the Central and Eastern European 17+1 countries, particularly as regards industrial and production cooperation with China. It has it's rather cornered the market in a way in terms of being a European headquarters for you know, business services. This involves outsourcing or other types of online services. So these are some of the activities, but the entire Silk Road will be covered. There will be tours to various other European capitals, cities, before going on to Central Asia, and then ultimately ending up in Beijing, and assuming everything goes smoothly.
Hopefully for the Winter Olympics, right?
Exactly, that's right. So it's an incredibly ambitious and energetic initiative. And it is also extremely valuable for business and policy purposes. There have been excellent discussions, for example, in terms of innovation, cybersecurity, just a whole range of discussions regarding emerging technologies along the Silk Road. So certainly very worthwhile, and I strongly urge those watching this video to come along. It's actually a virtual event. You get an avatar and you join the meetings, and then we have presentations by very important leading figures currently in Europe, and I'm sure this will be also the case as we move through the rest of the Silk Road, which are incredibly informative and insightful. So it's a great initiative, and I strongly support it.
Yeah, so I think CEO Philipp Reinisch will forgive us for taking the opportunity to make a bit of like publicity for his project. We will put the link for the emerging technology tour in like in the material, also in the documentation. Please feel free to check up on it. You'll also find us on LinkedIn and so on. It's a virtual reality tour along the Silk Road, presenting the most important thought leaders and emerging technologies, of course, as the name says. So yeah, feel free to check it out.